Serious, how could we actually save the Earth? Putting higher penalties on littering, pollution laws. Make as many products without plastic as possible, especially single-use plastics, and get rid of designed obsolescence. Edit to explain my statement. I didn't mean that we should produce more products, I meant that we should change the materials used in products away from plastic. Nuclear power. It can do things that fossil fuels can, which frankly other electric power sources cannot replace. The 14 largest cargo ships produce more emissions than every car on Earth combined. You cannot run a cargo ship off solar power. If we as a collective decided to replace our most toxic fossil and coal energy sources with nuclear power, we could feasibly reduce emissions to manageable levels within 10 years. This frankly isn't possible with any other available energy system. Unfortunately, the people who should advocate nuclear power are staunchly against it. Looking at you, Jill Stein, you dumb jerk. People are scared of nuclear power for a few reasons. So this will never happen. 1. Nuclear energy is associated with nuclear weapons. This alone frightens people into being hardcore opponents. 2. Nuclear reactors have larger scale disasters, arguably, than oil or coal, when shit hits the fan. This isn't entirely fair, given that factors more people die from oil or coal production as a percentage of energy produced. The tragedies are just more dispersed, so they don't make as big of an impact in the media. 3. Nuclear power centralizes control over energy. This is why that child Jill Stein is against it. These people have a vision of a utopia where communities produce their own power, and corporations and governments have little control over it. Sounds nice, but in order to implement this you have to not only struggle against conservative climate change deniers, but also every utilities company on the planet. Nuclear power obviously cannot be run at a community level. The issue is that the Green Party is supposed to be about prioritizing the Earth. Instead, when the party is given a reasonable solution, nuclear, which is so eco-friendly that if we took steps immediately we could stave off climate change for hundreds of years, they hate it because it doesn't match with their utopian vision. For more detailed information, look up having kids versus wizards environmental philosophy nearly stop burning gasoline and planting billions of trees, without a serious drop in birth rates and getting trees to take in all that CO2, any other measure will only delay the inevitable. The Earth will be fine. It's the current species that inhabit it that are in danger. The Earth doesn't need saving. It's going to be just fine once we're all dead. I'm tired of all of the shit that I see in my everyday life. Every day I see people littering, vandalizing and even straight up destroying stuff. It's really annoying how little empathy people have for others and even themselves. How could we actually make a huge impact on the world? We could start by picking up all the trash we've thrown over the years and stop littering, but what would we do from there? Humanity is prone to repetition. As long as humanity exists, we will continue to fail. The planet on the other hand will come back, with or without us. Earth has had mass extinctions before and it will again. Extinction is a part of life and necessary for the evolution of all things. Basically, do your best to keep the world healthy, but don't act surprised when we hit our tipping point only to die slowly and painfully, despite our best efforts. Radically changing our lifestyle of obsessive consumption. Imagine and enact different ways of living. UBI, everyone having capacity to not dedicate life to pumping out cheap shit just to live, eat less meat. Reducing animal product consumption plus electric cars plus PPL deciding to only have 2 or less kids. There need to be an X prize for carbon capture technology. Then juicy government contracts for people to operate that technology. Once solving a crisis becomes profitable, someone will find a way to resolve it. Eat less meat. Just fucking recycle. It's sometimes a bit tedious, but I do it and you never really realize how much plastic you throw away each day till you have a recycling bin. Until we can manufacture products that can be 100% recyclable, nothing can reasonably done. We as a species can design wonderful things, make wonderful things, but after that thing reaches its end, we throw it in a hole to rot. The cycle of zero waste has to be thought through and implemented. It's something small, but I have seen at a few grocery stores. Getting discounts for brining in your own reusable bags. Also, a mom and pop bulk store near me gives you a discount if you bring in your own reusable containers for the bulk products, like a mason jar to hold flour. It's super small, I know, but I like the discount, yay, saving money, and it reduces plastic waste. I think it should be implemented all over the place. It could make a really big difference. I'm in school for sustainable tech, and in my opinion, the complete switch to renewable energy will make a huge difference. Be aware of the water you are using, don't leave your lights on. That's like a first easy step. We need a significant breakthrough in carbon capture technology. It's too late now to stop emitting carbon before we do heavy damage to the Earth's atmosphere. If we get carbon capture cheap enough, then we can tax pollutions and use the revenue to remove it again. This technology is way off, but hey, the first nuclear reactor only produced half a watt of power. Stopping carbon emissions in the first place is much better. It stops a problem before one is created, but at this point we need anything we can get. Nuclear power, also new-gen stuff like thorium molten salt reactors, have very low CO2 emissions. Wind, water and solar are great and all, but they cannot keep up with demand. Use recycled parts and plastic to make a series of machines designed to clean trash from the ocean, among other things. As for large ocean trash piles, make a new occupation for people to go out to these areas and collect the trash, also helps with unemployment around the world. Biodegradable shopping bags, balloons. And for the love of God, fund the scientists to make this a living reality. The Earth will be fine. We're only killing ourselves, it's really about making the world better for us. Call me cynical, but I don't think there is much we can do to fix everything. Just do some damage control. Pick up litter. Walk and cycle if you can. Also refuse damaging products that have cycled the word thrice come wrapped in an inch of plastic. Get rid of all the Republicans. They're the problem in the US. Seriously, the extinction of the human race. Everyone in the world having a day with little to no electricity, reducing the amount of CO2 going into the air, just a thought, but might work? Overpopulation is really the issue here. There are just too damn many of us on this planet. We can't sustain our growth without seriously changing the way we live our lives, waste management, agriculture, and transportation. Without transitioning all of our gas diesel engines to electric, including cargo ships and planes, and the update all electricity generation to renewable resources, not carbon-based, we are fucked. There is just too much CO2 in the atmosphere and plastic in the oceans. Humans haven't devised a way to efficiently scrub the CO2 out of the air. The second issue is plastics. We need to stop producing them today and only use materials that can easily be recycled and/or biodegrade within 10 to 15 years. It's a grave thought, but a world epidemic that removed 90% of all humans from the Earth would really help us out in the long run. By moving to Mars. Use renewable energy. Stop deforestation, desertification, littering. Eat less meat, especially beef, and stop burning fossil fuels. Stop expanding towns and cities. Force big companies to find more renewable energy sources. Find a practical and inexpensive way to power everyone's house with solar energy. Get the top polluter countries, like the Philippines, to limit their waste and encourage them to improve their waste disposal system. Stop drinking bottled water and switch to a reusable water bottle with a Brita filter. It will survive. It's the living things on it that won't. Figure out how to safely live in space. I am talking about hundreds of giant self-sustaining space stations. Large-scale asteroid mining for industry and resources. Vast hydroponic farms. We could put trash, ours or those on the street, in a garbage can. Attempting to make lots of things electronic and renewable. Oil can run low, wind can't, fossil fuels release toxic fumes into the air, solar panels don't, you get the gist of it. Honestly? By leaving. The Earth doesn't need saving, it will go on long after we are gone. We're the one who needs saving. Leave. Penalize corporations. It's pretty much all their fault, and you taking an hour-long shower has done nothing compared to what they did in the first minute of your hour-long shower. Put more efforts into developing nuclear fusion reactors. Fusion reactors are awesome. Not only could they provide us with enough power to completely get rid of the dependence on fossil fuels, but once sufficiently advanced, you could theoretically even use CO2 to fuel them, turning them into giant air cleaners. Save it from what? It'll be fine once the new meta kicks in. Sure, there will be less of the species that don't benefit us, but we clearly don't care about that. Expect for life to get better for the average citizen of developed nations. We will find solutions to the problems we create that impact us, or change our locations and lifestyles to circumvent the negatives. We can't. It's probably too late now. Ask Steven Seagal. https://m.youtube.com/watch?v=8bonp_01vbg. Stop supporting corporations and be harsher on our governments. Nuclear power. It produces extremely high energy yields, while not producing any carbon emissions. A single kilogram of uranium-235 produces 2 to 3 million times more energy than a kilogram of coal. Accidents like Chernobyl scare people away from nuclear power, but safety regulations have gone way up since then. If we put more research into the development of nuclear technology, we can make sure it's a safe and reliable source of clean energy.